Good evening, everyone. And of course, it's another beautiful Wednesday here in Queen City, Nevis. And guess what? Once it's Wednesday night, you know what it is. It's on the mark. And we're here from the Eastern Caribbean Spa House, Vaughan Radio, for another beautiful Wednesday. It's been very, very hot these days. I don't know what's going on with the weather, but it's hot in the day, hot in the night, and the temperatures are soaring these days. Thank God we got some wonderful showers over the past weekend, but the heat is back on. So it's a warm Wednesday night here in Queen City, Nevis. It's a beautiful Wednesday night nonetheless, and we want to welcome you once again to On The Mark. Of course, we are here every Wednesday night from 8 until 10 o'clock. 2 hours of talk show, and of course we know that this show is listened to very, very widely. Of course, tonight it's not your regular host. It's not the Honorable Mark Brantley. It's me. It's Eric Evelyn, and unfortunately, I'm the one you'll have to contend with for the next 2 hours. I know you prefer to hear the regular host, the Honorable Mark Brantley, Premier of Nevis. He's not here tonight, but I'm here, and so I'm here to keep your company, and you're there to keep my company as well. And so it is a delight for me to welcome you to On The Mark. And of course, you know, this is one of the most popular, if not the most popular talk show in St. Kitts and Nevis and across the region and probably throughout the world. And so it's another beautiful Wednesday. It's nice to have you. So I'm saying good night to all of the folks here in Queen City, Nevis, as well as St. Kitts across the region, and those joining us via the World Wide Web in the diaspora. Wherever you are, we know that people all over the globe listen to this show. It's very, very widely listened to, and we're so thankful for all of you who continue to listen and continue to make contributions to the show every week. All right, well, I'm without my mask, and so you would know that I am in the studio by myself. However, that will not be for long, because very shortly I'll be having one guest, and then when that one guest leaves, I'm going to be having some more guests, and I'm going to be having some good company tonight. But for now, of course, we know that normally at the top of the show we normally do get some housekeeping matters out of the way, and so I'm just going to do that. First and foremost, I want to say a big thank you on behalf of Premier Mark Brantley, who would have traveled up to New York this past Saturday for that lovely meet and greet function that was held at Mount Vernon. And so the Honorable Mark Brantley want to say thank you to all family and friends and all the wonderful persons who came out in their numbers to that event. By all reports, the event went extremely well, and of course those of you who came out, I'm sure you could attest to that as well. I understand people were there from not only New York, but people were there, of course it was the holiday weekend there in the United States, and so persons were there from Canada, from Boston, from Connecticut, and other places. And so the Honorable Mark Brantley want to thank you sincerely for turning out in your numbers. Of course, he would have said that event went very well. It would have been scheduled to finish at 7 o'clock, but I understand that he didn't leave until after 9. So it means that event went extremely well. And so we want to say shout out and thanks to all of the lovely folks in the Big Apple and surrounding areas who came out to that event this past Saturday. Well, of course, we know we normally extend some birthday greetings at the top of the show as well, and so I want to extend some birthday greetings. I think today is the birthday of Lillian Prentice of the In Church Ground. Is it today or yesterday? Anyway, Lillian, I hope you had a wonderful day on your special day, whether it was yesterday or today. I am sweet smiling Lillian. Continue to enjoy what's left of your birthday, and sending out some belated birthday greetings to my Aunt Sheila down there in Hanley's Road. Sheila, you celebrated on Sunday, and you had a wonderful day. And to my godson down there in Anguilla, Xavier Claxton, celebrated yesterday. Spoke to him, and I know by the sound of him yesterday that I'm sure he's still celebrating. I know he had a blast yesterday, and I believe he's still celebrating. So good evening to you, Xavier, and I hope you had a wonderful birthday. Keith Glasgow, my PSD, is celebrating tomorrow, so advance birthday greetings to you, and anyone else who might be celebrating, whether you're celebrating a birthday or an anniversary, whatever the occasion. Hope you're having you had a wonderful day. Hope you'll have a wonderful evening. If you celebrated these past days, I hope you had a great day. And if you're going to celebrate tomorrow or for the rest of the week, we wish you all the very, very best from all of us here at On The Mark and from the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse. And of course, we want to greet all of the folks who are not doing so well at this time. If you're a little bit under the weather, if you're in the hospital, if you're in the homes in Gingerland or in Charlestown, we want to greet you. We want to greet all of the workers as well who work at these institutions, at the hospital and at the homes, who do such a marvelous job in caring for our citizens and residents here on the island of Nevis. Marguerite, good night to you. Hope you're going to have a good night's rest tonight. And for all those who are, as I said, at the hospital or at the home, and of course we greet the workers as well, continue to have a wonderful evening. And of course we know that some folks are in the bereaved column, and here at Vaughan Radio and on the mark, we are a caring people, and so we want to extend condolences to those of you who are in the bereaved column, those of you who might be down at this time, those of you who are suffering the loss of someone or some persons. We greet you at this time. We know it's a difficult time for you, and so we want to greet you. We want to greet the family of young Jones, who was laid to rest on Saturday. Special good night to Denise. I know it's a bittersweet time for you. I know you had your birthday earlier this week as well, Denise. And for you and the family, the entire family, condolences to you. Condolences as well to Pearl Nisbet and her family. Bernice Blake, you would have laid Paul Blake to rest last week as well. So we want to say condolences to you as well. And of course, we know that the great Gandhi will be laid to rest tomorrow, and so we want to say greetings to the family of Gandhi as well, the wife and the children and the grandchildren and all who are left to mourn. And of course we also say good night to the Elliott family, Margaret Elliott and your family. Margaret, you would have lost a sister overseas as well. So all those of you who are in the bereaved column, we say good night to you, and we trust that God will keep you in his grace and in his mercy as you go through this very difficult time. Now, as I indicated, I'm going to have some guests a little later on, so I want to do this before my guests come in, because sometimes when we get caught up in the talking, we may just go up until 10 and I may not get a chance to do this. And so I want at the top of the show as well to say just how pleased and proud I am of the string of excellent performances and achievements that we've been having from our young sports personalities on the island of Nevis. For the past weeks, we've been getting some excellent news and reviews and performances and achievements by our young people. And as the Minister of Youth and as the Minister of Sports, I'm extremely delighted and extremely proud of our achievements of our young people. And we continue to say here on the island of Nevis that we do have some incredible talent, and we must continue to nurture that talent, because we know our youngsters can do well. They can reach places. They have been going places regionally and internationally, and we want them to continue in that trend. And so I want first and foremost to say congratulations once again to young Harlan Bowen Tuckett, who was a successful captain of the under-19 Leeward Islands cricket team that traveled to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and they were part of that tournament that the Leeward Islands won under the captaincy of young Tuckett. And of course, we know Tuckett was the captain, but he also did very well with the bat. And accompanying Tuckett from Nevis in that tournament, we had young Onaje Amri as well, who did exceptionally well. He was the most successful bowler of the entire tournament. Did you hear that? He was the most successful bowler. So he got the award as the bowler with the most wickets for the entire tournament, and that's young Onaje Amri of Nevis. And so those two youngsters would have gone to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and shone very brightly for the island of Nevis, and we must be very proud. Of course, I say congratulations to them, and congratulations to the parents and all of the supporters and all who have been a part of that journey to get them where they are, including the coaches and of course including my Department of Sports, who would have been doing some excellent programs with our young persons in all sporting disciplines. And so we congratulate them heartily, and we know that they have places to go in cricket. Of course, we know they would have played in the West Indies under-19 Rising Stars team as well, and so they continue to do very well. So congratulations to them. And of course, we also want to say congratulations. We also had Light Brown, who was the vice captain of the Leeward's under-15 team that traveled to Grenada recently as well. And as a part of that team, we had young Omari Jones from Nevis. And so we want to say congratulations to them. We are very proud of you guys, and continue to stay focused, continue to keep your head on. And of course, we know as well we had young Jaden Carmichael, who was drafted into the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots. And we know the Patriots didn't do too well in the tournament, and at least in the St. Kitts leg of the tournament so far, but at least they would have won the inaugural 60 tournament. And helping them to win that tournament, we had the likes of young Jaden Carmichael, who would have done pretty well in that tournament as well. So congratulations to Jaden. And of course, we know earlier on we had Kezron Archibald, who was a part of the Leewards team, who would have done well, performed exceptionally well too. And so the string of performances from our young sports personalities continue. And of course, only yesterday, I journeyed to Uwali to welcome home myself and Jamia, the director of sports. We journeyed to Uwali to welcome back two of our young footballers. We had two, Jamal Lewis and Chris Brown. They went to the Dominican Republic to represent the St. Kitts and Nevis on the 17 football team. And of course, we know that, well, some persons may not know, but Jamal from Nevis was actually the captain of that St. Kitts and Nevis under 17 squad. And Chris Brown was one of the vice captains of that St. Kitts Nevis squad as well. So we had two youngsters from Nevis making the St. Kitts Nevis squad, one as captain, one as one of the vice captains. So that is an excellent achievement by our youngsters. They would have gone for the CONCACAF under 17 qualifiers. Unfortunately, they missed out from qualifying. They played three teams. They would have won Dominica, they would have won the Cayman Islands, and unfortunately they would have lost to the Dominican Republic. And they would have, from all reports, they would have done very, very well down there in the Dominican Republic. And of course, accompanying the youngsters, we had Sienna Leader from Nevis, who was the manager of the team, and we had Dr. Dwana Pemberton Jeffers, who was the team doctor. So Nevis was very, very well represented in the Dominican Republic, and we say congratulations to them. And I said congratulations to all of the young sports personalities who have been shining very, very brightly for the island of Nevis, and of course for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis in cricket, in football, and we are so very, very proud of them. And while we are in cricket as well, let me just, of course, I know it's a couple of weeks have passed, but let me congratulate the Empire cricket team for winning the first division Bank of Nevis tournament that was played recently, the finals of which was held a couple of weeks ago at the VOJN grounds. And the Empire cricket team won that tournament. So heartiest congratulations to you, Empire cricket team, Delvin and the entire team. They did a marvelous job. They came up against the likes of course, we know All Stars is a strong team, and they would have defeated All Stars by 60 runs, and so they would have done extremely well. Congratulations to you guys. And of course, in the second division, we had the New Vision team that they would have won over the Masters. And so we would have had quite a lot of sporting activities over the past weeks, and from all reports, all of them would have gone well. And as I said, our young sports personalities continue to shine. I want to say congratulations to them. Let us continue to rally around them, we as a Division public. And of course, I want to send a plea out to the parents as well. They need your continued support in order for them to shine. Of course, we have the raw talent, but that talent needs to continue to be nurtured, and of course it needs the support of all of us on the island of Nevis, and especially as well to the parents. You must be there to support the youngsters. So congratulations to all who would have been involved in all of these sporting events, and continue to shine. Before I have my first guest in as well, I just want to indicate that there will be an event, or that should be, well, a pop-up shoe store happening at the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park on September 15th, 16th, and the 17th. And of course, it's called Trendy Feet. I think, let me make sure I have that correct. I think it's Trendy Feet, and you're going to be having brands, shoes from all brands that are going to be there, shoes for every taste, and we're asking you to go out and support. Apart from the men's shoes, they're going to be having other items for men, shirts and other items as well. And so you're asked to go on out to the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park on the 15th, 16th and the 17th for that pop-up men's shoe store, and you cannot afford to miss it. Let me give you an idea of some of the brands. Guess, Michael Kors, Polo, Stacey Adams, and more. And trust me, those are the real trendy stuff. So if you're looking for trendy footwear, you need to find yourself to the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park on the 15th, 16th, and 17th of September for that men's pop-up shop. All right, and if you need further information, you can contact Agnola at 662-8577. All right, so if you're looking for trendy footwear, the Malcolm Gishard Park will be the place on September 15th, 16th and the 17th. And so that is a mouthful for now. Of course, we know we normally have a prelude before we get into our main discussion points for On the Mark. And so now that I've gotten these out of the way, I can invite my first guest in now, and I'm going to put my mask on. Of course, we have to obey the protocols here at the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse, and so I'm going to mask up. As I say once again, good night to all of the fine folks who are in tune to the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse Vaughan Radio on this warm but beautiful Wednesday night here in Queen City, Nevis, the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse. We are here with you on the Mark, and it's good to have you. Of course, remember, if you missed the show tonight, you can always tune in again tomorrow at 1 o'clock from 1 to 3 p.m. when we will have a rebroadcast of the show. And we always tell you that we know that you enjoy the show so much that you will be sure that you would want to listen again. So if you missed tonight, listen tomorrow. If you listen tonight, listen again tomorrow. All right, so once again, it's Eric Evelyn. I'm sitting in for the regular host, the Honorable Mark Brantley, who is absent tonight, and it's such a pleasure to greet all of you. And once again, we say a big and hearty thank you to the fine folks who came out in their numbers to that Concerned Citizens Movement planned event that was held in the Big Apple in New York City. And we want to thank you for coming out and showing your support to us. Of course, we apologize that only the Honorable Mark Brantley was able to make it, but of course we know that he would have made up for all of us who are not there. Of course, we know he's a powerhouse, he's a sheriff, and we want to thank you. And so now I'm going to invite my first guest in as I put my mask on. So I'm going to ask you to just indulge with me for just a minute as I remove my headphone and get my mask on. And so now I am properly masked up, and we'll be having, as I indicated, we're going to be having some guests here on the program tonight. Of course, we know this is a show that, apart from just talk, we normally impart a lot of information to you as well. It's a show that gives you a lot of pertinent information, very important information sometimes as well. And so apparently my first guest has not arrived as yet, and so I am going to indulge you just for another minute or couple of minutes as we wait for our first guest to arrive. And all right, okay, since my first guest is not here, I'm going to invite two of the other guests who are already here to come in and talk to me. Because we have a lot of information to share tonight.
We do indeed.
Yes, and so we're indeed delighted to have our first two guests in the studio this evening. And I know one of them is no stranger to the microphones of Vaughan Radio. I don't know if the other one is, but I want to, and he's saying no, he's not a stranger to the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse either. I think, Vaughan Radio is a place that is so welcoming that, so many persons visit Vaughan Radio, and we always welcome you with open arms. So we're happy to have you guys this evening, and we're sure that you are here to share some very important information with us. I understand there's an event that's coming up soon. And
soon.
Let me allow you to introduce yourselves, because I'm always so happy when I have guests, when I have company in the studio with me. So before I get carried away, I'll let my guests introduce themselves.
Okay, so I'm Sheila James, and I'm the coordinator for SKN Moves Nevis chapter. And my colleague and committee member is next to me. He's going to introduce himself now.
Hi, good evening. My name is Dejan Liebert, and as Sheila said, I'm a committee member.
He's very shy.
And it seems as though you guys decided to have on the same
Yeah,
color.
it's kind of weird, isn't it?
Color attire tonight.
I'm still in my work clothes. I didn't even get to go home. I decided to stay in town because if I'd gone home, I wouldn't have made it back.
Well, I'm happy you stayed in town,
Well,
so you can
thank
make
you.
it to the show. And
Okay.
if I keep you till 10 o'clock, you don't mind, right? You wouldn't
Well,
mind,
actually, I
right?
do. 'Cause I need to get home. It's been a very long day.
All right,
very
so
long day.
Sheila, tell us what's going to be happening very shortly, and I mean why you're here.
Okay, so let me just do a mini introduction. So SKN Moves was, it came about in 2019 through the Honourable Hazel Brandy Williams, Junior Minister of Health. Oh, sorry, I'm not close. I should know this, shouldn't I, Melissa? It's terrible. Bit rusty. So it came about in 2019 through Honourable Hazel Brandy Williams, Junior Minister of Health and Gender Affairs. And basically what it is, SKN Moves is not just Nevis, St Kitts Nevis thing, it's a Caribbean theme. And Junior Minister thought, well, St Kitts are doing their thing, Nevis needs to do theirs too. And so basically she pulled myself and David to one side and basically had a chat with us and said, what can we do? And so we came up with all these different activities. I mean, for the first 2 years, we had the Half Island walk relay, which I know you took part in. I think you took part in the first and the second one.
Yes.
And then
I
we
still have my shirt.
Oh, very good.
And it still fits me.
Oh, that's good. That's great. So the program's working.
Yes.
I'm pleased to hear.
Yes.
And then
Actually, I was tempted to wear it tonight.
you should have worn it. You should have worn it. Anyway, so then a year and a half later, we ended up doing the 2 mile bike relay, which is slowly growing. And these activities are for all kinds of people. You don't have to be 100% fit, but fit enough to be able to take part in some of the activities. The walk was designed for all abilities. So there's 5 handover points, and we started off outside the Junior Minister's house, which makes a lot of sense, and from Brickley, and we go all the way through to the actual Fit Wellness Ground.
Yes.
But I'm not here to talk about that today.
Okay.
But just to give you an idea, that
Yes.
SKN's been around since 2019,
Yes.
and each year we try and bring in a new event. So this year, the goal was to do 5 events in 1 year. We're now on to event 3, which I'm really, really pleased about. And it's a bit of a buzz. The interesting thing though, Eric, you know, when we do walks, people will come out in their hundreds.
I know.
And then we do an event like this, we only wanted 32 people, and it's the hardest thing to pull together.
Are you serious?
I'm telling you, because you mentioned...
So why aren't you targeting the persons who normally walk
well,
to be a part of this event?
I have, but then you say obstacle and they go, what? They get scared. So we've managed to get 16 out of 32, which is pretty good. And they're very keen. So we've got 8 for private sector and 8 for public sector, and they will battle it out for the fastest times on the...
Well, tell us more about this activity.
So
because
basically...
I'm sure persons out there listening wondering, what is Sheila talking about here?
So we've been advertising it for the longest now, but basically what it is, the idea came about because we're trying to draw people from all walks of life, and I recognise that people who work in the workplace, most people, if they're honest, don't do enough activities. And I just wanted to throw something in the pot, a little challenge. And so the obstacle course, which is probably one of the hardest things anybody will do in life, because I've done it and I nearly killed myself, but then I'm female, right? Which I shouldn't say out loud, but it was really difficult. And I thought, maybe, yeah, if we modify the course, we'll probably get the people in. So far, I mean, we've got the 16, because I knew we probably wouldn't get 32 because the closing date's on the 9th now. It's too short notice. But we're happy that we've got the 16 persons and they're all revved up and raring to go. So basically what they will do is they're in 2 teams. and they will
Each team is how many persons?
8 persons in each team because it
So
will
you're saying you only have 2 teams?
Two teams.
Because I've heard the ads and
Yeah.
it was supposed to be running over 3 weekends.
it's four
4
consecutive
weekends.
Saturdays.
So it would you wanted to have 2 teams,
Originally,
different
2 on
teams
each
for
side.
each Saturday.
No, it's the same team because it's a knockout round.
Okay, it's a knockout.
So it's a knockout
The
round.
2 teams that Sheila is talking about is private versus
and-
public.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's going to be a really good challenge. I'm going to hand over to Dijon because he'll explain the logistics of the actual knockout series. But just to let you know, it's 2 teams of 8. And each Saturday there will be, well, the first round is a preliminary round. So we take the highest scores. Then we go to we call it, it's not really a lucky dip, is it really? Basically, we split the private public and somebody will come and select the names and then they will compete against each other on the same course, trying to better their time and beat each other. And so we keep doing that, and then I'm going to hand over to Dijon because he's the one that will tell you about the logistics in terms of the knockout process.
Okay, well, Sheila was attempting to
Tempting is
give
right.
you guys an overview of how it
Yeah.
works. So basically, we had to make some changes. So now that we have 16 persons, it would be all 16 would be participating as individuals, but
So not as teams this time.
No,
not as
you
teams.
represent in public and private sector.
Okay.
So originally, the idea was to have 32 persons, and these 32 persons would have made up 16 teams. And out of these 16 teams, 8 of the teams would have been public and 8 would have been private.
Okay.
Yes. But because we were not able to get, that amount of persons, that we have 16 now, so we're just going to make it individual persons participating on behalf of public
and private.
Okay.
So on the first day of the activity, it's going to be a knockout.
Tell us what's the name of the activity.
It's an Evis knockout.
Nevis knockout. Okay.
Public versus private sector.
Yes.
Okay.
So of those 16 teams that are participating on the first day, only 8 will move on to the quarterfinals. So
you're
sadly,
knocking out 8 people for the
Yes.
first day then.
8 persons.
Yeah, that will be in the
knockout.
for the second week, which will be the quarterfinals. So the first week, as Dejan said, was everybody will compete as individual. Well, not compete against yourself, but you're running against the clock basically. So you're trying to get the fastest time finish on an obstacle course. Then we go into week 2, which is where we then do the knockout. That will be the knockout round. So what we then do is we pull the names out. So public, private will get names pulled, and they will compete against each other. And whoever gets the...
Yeah, so let me clean it up a little bit.
Because I'm really bad at describing
Yes,
this. I can
So,
see it, but I can't say
After the
it.
first 8 teams are knocked out, 8 teams move on to the quarterfinal.
Correct.
And then their names will be drawn to see who will be competing against each other. Yeah, so that is just to encourage the persons to have, a fast time.
Okay.
Yes, so then on that day, another 4 teams will be knocked out. And we'll be having 4 moving on to the semifinals.
Right.
And then that's how we will continue. At the semifinals, 2 teams will move on to compete for first and second, and then the other 2 teams will compete for third.
I'm a little confused.
I can go- I can-
Yeah.
Confused me because you said it would be 16 persons.
16 persons.
16 persons.
16 persons, but then you're still saying teams.
Sorry. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's actually individuals.
Individuals.
Right.
Yes,
Because you said it's going to leave 8 and then you're saying 8 teams,
Yes.
which should be 8 persons.
8 persons.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All
Thank
right.
you,
Persons.
thank you.
Yes, for paying attention.
There you go.
Yes,
Thank you.
All right.
That's
So it's
correct.
going
Because
to be
originally
individuals.
we were hoping
So
to have the teams.
we move from 16 individuals
Right.
to
To
8
individuals.
to 4
Right.
and then to 2.
Okay, good. Now,
Yeah.
now I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds good, right?
Yes.
After all of that, now David, if he shows up,
He will show up.
he will come
He
in
has to.
and he will discuss the obstacles itself. Because originally we were looking at 16 obstacles, but we are now doing 10 obstacles, and they carry 10 points each obstacle, which will go towards the fast time.
Right.
And that will also assist with the elimination process. So when he gets here, he'll tell the listening audience what the obstacle course is going to look like. So I hope you're all good at visuals, because you're going to need to know what he's talking about in order to do Is he here?
No, not
Oh, is
yet.
that Kevin there? Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
From the video
So
advertisement that you did already, some of the obstacles were seen in that.
that's true.
And then we should be having another video going through.
Yes,
the
we are
course.
producing a walkthrough video for all our competitors so that they don't come with a big shock on the day. And then just before the actual event takes place, we will also do a walkthrough so that people are aware of what's actually happening. Before
You
the
said,
actual competition
you said
starts.
it was difficult to get people to actually
Yeah,
take part, right?
really hard
So how
work.
did you eventually get 16 persons?
Oh my gosh, a lot of hard work, Eric. I had to phone people, I had to beg people, a lot. I had to do a lot to get them, and today was the last 2 that signed up, and that's it. Because we were really hoping for 32, but because it's an obstacle course, and people are like, "What is an obstacle course?" And then they've sussed out what an obstacle course is. They've run with fear, but it's meant to be fun. It, you know, whether you complete it or not, the actual taking part is good fun. And the other thing is, it's a pre into next year. If you try it this year and you think, okay, I know I could have done a lot better, I'm going to come back next year and do it. And you've got a whole year to train.
What time of day are we talking about though, in terms of this activity?
Good question. So because there's a concert on the day before, the night before, we originally were going to do a 7 a.m. start, but
Okay.
because the concert finishes at 3, it doesn't make sense. Nobody will show up. We'll have lots of absences.
Even the participants will show up.
Well, there you go. I'd probably be with the only one there with the flag waiting. But anyway, so we decided, we looked at the time frame and thought, if everybody gets a good night's rest, we're looking into the afternoon. We're still deliberating whether it's 3 or 6 because we're having lights.
Okay.
It's going to be floodlit in the evening, so it would be a really nice, cooler
And
event.
bearing
hopefully.
in mind as well, Sheila, it's been excessively hot.
I know.
I don't know what's going on with this
I don't
weather.
know
I
what's
was saying
going on
this at the top
either.
of the show. It's been very, very hot.
Very,
these days.
even now it's really hot and
Yeah,
steamy.
yeah.
So we've got to think about the competitors because we don't want them high day when the sun's at its highest point.
And you know, even at 5
It's
in the
still
afternoon, it's still very, very
warm.
hot.
I know. So this is something that we as a committee we're going to have to sit down and talk it through again before the event, which is actually on the 17th of September.
Okay. So the first event
The
is on
first is the
on September
17th,
17th.
and then it's every Saturday up to the 8th of October, which is the finals. So that it brings me nicely into the sponsors, because obviously without these events we can't, you know, if we don't have sponsors we can't put these events on. So I want to say firstly a special thank you to NIA, because they've been with me 100% since the start of this, you know, the putting the events together. And then what we've decided to do is bring on sponsorships or working in partnerships to take off some of the burden.
Yes.
So we've got our sponsor, Mr. Dwayne Strawn. He's representing Massa Assist, and basically he will be presenting trophies, medals, and T-shirts to all our participants. On top of that, I always like to get prizes as well. So I've managed to secure prizes for the first, second, and third place. So in first place, it will be 4 tickets for the Delia Walwyn zip lining experience in St. Kitts. I want that prize.
Are you taking part?
No. I'm going to be co-hosting and running around like a mad woman on that day probably, but you know. The second prize is, it's called Discover Sail Experience for 2 persons, and it's a duration of 2 hours provided by Beach Edition, St. Kitts and Nevis Aquatic Sailing Centre, and the expiration date is over 6 months. So they've got up until... The issue is that on the 8th of October, and they've got 6 months after that before it finishes, basically. So hopefully they can swim. If you can't swim and you win this prize, you've got 6 months to learn to swim. So that's a good thing as
That's
well.
a good one.
Yeah, and then the third prize is a health package
And
bundle.
of course, we have some swimming classes taking
Of
place
course,
every now
so
and again. It's swim
encourage
to
them,
win,
yes,
so
yes.
people can come and learn to swim
That's
and
right,
then
and get this, yes.
Right,
So
of course.
hopefully they can swim, and if they can't, they can learn. And then the third prize is a health package. It's a bundle for 2 persons, courtesy of Fit Wellness Centre. So yeah, I just, you know, I mean, we continue to try and push the message about healthy living lifestyles and so on. And these activities, although, you know, they're hard work, it's fun as well, and it's stretching you.
I know.
And I've said, because I really wanted females to take part in this
I was,
event.
as a matter of fact, I was just about to
Yeah.
ask you, what is the participants that you have?
It's all men.
What
Again, the
Wow.
women are running scared. They're running scared. I can't get females to take part in these events, and it's really worrying, because I say sometimes that women don't know their own strength sometimes, you know, and they don't give themselves the opportunity to find out. But there are some women out there stronger than men. There really are
But
quite a few.
they need to come and prove
yeah,
themselves.
they do need to prove
I believe
themselves.
next time you should target Melissa too.
Is that thumbs up, Melissa? Thumbs up, yeah! Okay. So, yeah, but it's really difficult to target women.
Maybe what you can do next time, Sheila, maybe you all need to have a category for male and a category for female, because from what I'm understanding, I mean, it was all open, where males would have been competing against females. But as you rightly said, there's some females that are stronger than males.
There's quite a lot of women out there.
But as I said, maybe as an incentive, probably next time you can probably have a female
female category.
Yeah, and that might entice them.
Well, you know, we
probably
tried that with the bike relay, didn't we? Do you remember we had 4 women take part in the bike relay, but we just couldn't get the numbers up.
Because of course, when you have when you have the relay, when you have the walk, a lot of women take part. More women than men.
Yeah, they do.
Right?
They do.
So if you can entice them to come and take part in the walk, there's no reason why you can't be able to entice them to come and take part in the obstacle.
Eric, have you seen the obstacle course?
Of course I do. I go to the park all the time.
Yeah, it's a little bit different from a walk. There's no walk in the park, is it really? But you know, I mean,
trust me, those obstacles.
They're hard work. I mean, I remembered when I worked in tourism, and I did a program trying to encourage, you know, sports tourism, and the obstacle course was one of the events that I was trying to push. And me and Ounce went across, and I attempted, I nearly killed myself twice.
Did you go on the tires?
I did everything. But the funniest thing was, you know, the log where you hook up underneath and you pull yourself across. I went brap on the floor, and I saw stars for about 5 minutes. I said, that's it, I'm over, I'm done. And then I got stuck in the tunnel. I thought, what the heck? I don't think this is for me. But saying that, maybe later on I might try it again, because it really was good fun. It was. I just wasn't very good at it. So yeah, I mean, if there are women out there, you've got 12 months till the next event. I really want to see.
I'm assuming that you want to make this as an annual
Absolutely,
event.
because
just like when you have the Half Island Road Relay annually, you'd want to make that an annual event as well.
because we have 5 events now. So in March we do it's a very competitive event, the March one, because that's really out for the athletes, because they were complaining that the walk wasn't competitive enough for them, and so some of them, you'd see them walking and then start running, and then obviously they're disqualified because it's a walk relay, not a run. So they decided to do a run only relay, and that was absolutely fantastic. That was in March. Then we did the Aquafunathlon for the children of Patawali, so that was a kayak, run, and swim. That was really good. We had 7 teams of youngsters between the ages of 8 and 12, and they absolutely loved it. And then this is the 3rd event, which is the obstacle. Then we go into the late autumn with the Half Island Walk Relay again, which was our very first event, and then we finish off the year with the 2-mile bike relay.
Okay, now normally when you're doing these things, as you rightly said, the obstacle thing, it is not easy, it's difficult, and people like encouragement.
Of course,
and of course, once people are doing these, they would want people to be cheering them on.
Yes.
What are you doing to get people out to support these athletes?
Well, we've been on TV already. We did a press conference, and we kind of pushed the fact that if you're not going to participate, at least come out and support. And all the participants who are taking place are bringing people along to rally support for them. So hopefully, I mean, if there's private and public sector workers out there, if you've got nothing going on Saturday, for the next 4 Saturdays in the evening, we want you to come out and support our competitors. Who knows, you might get inspired and decide to do it next year or not, but hopefully you'll be inspired to do it. So
I really hope people will come out and support, because I mean, of course, it's all a part of trying to get people fit and trying to get people healthy.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
And we this is something that we cannot let up on.
No, absolutely.
Because I still don't believe enough people are getting the message. They may be getting the message, but whether or not they're acting upon the message, that is a different story.
Yeah, too many people have love affairs with their couches. That's the problem, right? Too many. You need to divorce the couch. and get out on the road, because we've got, listen, we're very blessed because we have amazing weather. And you know, in the UK where I live, you don't want to go anywhere because it's so cold.
I know.
But you're here and you've got this fantastic weather, the outdoors, just, and there's so many different treks and routes that you can take. Just get out there and try something, you know? Just try
And
it.
of course, I know when David comes in, he's going to talk more about the fitness park. But I mean, the obstacle thing, and you just being there, I mean, should give you the urge to continue to get fit.
Of course. And if you do this challenge, trust me, you'll want to do something even more death-defying, maybe. I think you just get the buzz for it. You'll just want to do it, you know. And I think that's why, like, the walks are good, because all abilities can take part in the
Yes.
walks. There's no pressure with the walks. But maybe with this, because it's a competition, the pressure's on, and, you know, there's this pride thing. And so there's all those things that play into it. But just put those things to one side. Just go and just have lots of fun. Whether you win or lose, for me, the fact that you take part, you're already a winner.
Sheila,
You're already a winner.
I mean, I know you spoke about earlier about, I mean, when SKN Moves was launched and the objectives and so on. Do you believe that you're meeting your objectives from SKN Moves?
It's difficult to assess, but what I can tell you, and this is what I'm observing, since we started SKN Move activities, I've recognised that other groups are doing things now. So it's obviously filtering, and people are taking it upon themselves to do hikes and group walks and swims, and it's brilliant. So I'm not saying we triggered it, but certainly from when we started in 2019, it's definitely upped a lot. The activities are upping. So that's maybe, I don't know if we should put our hands up and say, yeah, we did that, but whether we did or not, we can see things are happening. We are seeing things happening. What I really want to focus on, though, apart from the adults, the children. I mean, they do the sports thing once a year, and that's great.
Yes.
But there's other things that they need to be doing throughout the year.
Of course.
And so that's why I introduced the aquafanathlon at Easter, and we tried it out, and it was a success with the kids. So we're going to do that again. Hopefully we'll build up the numbers for next Easter as well.
And it's extremely important that people are fit, because, of course, before you guys came in, I was talking about all these excellent achievements and performances we've been getting from our youngsters in cricket and in football.
Yep.
And if they're not fit, they can't perform.
True.
And so it is important that you start from that level
Absolutely.
to learn to be fit and to eat properly as well.
Yeah, and it's to take out the fear, because water is a big fear for many. And so when you do these activities like the kayaking and the swimming, it's fun in the water, and it absolutely lifts your confidence, and the fear, it will just diminish. Because once you see other people doing it, you want to be part of that. You don't want to miss out. So you get in there. And even though you're thinking it's just, I want to learn to swim, there's a fitness thing attached to that as well. You know?
Any particular reason why you placed the first activity around Independence Weekend?
No, I tell you what happened.
Was it a coincidence?
It was a coincidence, because originally this event was supposed to take place July, August. But then I had to travel, and then I got stuck. And so it was all of that. But we'd already planned the event, so the only thing we really needed to do was to get the competitors on board. So we'd already advertised the fact that we were going to run with this, and obviously I had to get all the sponsors on board ahead of time, and the prizes, which I did before I travelled. So when I got back now, we realised the time was ticking, so that means the back end of this year, all our events have been pushed down the calendar, because normally we do the walk early October. That's going to be the end of October.
Okay.
And the bike relay will be the end of November, which is usually around the middle of November. So the goal is to get everything done in 1 year. So we're still pushing to get that done. That's an achievement that we have to get. We have to do that. And then next year it should just all fall into place.
Fantastic.
In the proper time.
Well, it sounds good, and it sounds like the planning is going pretty good. So.
Yes, it's going really, really well. I've got a great team.
And I think
Committee
you should
members.
also mention that this is, you now have your full complement of 5 activities that you wanted to do. So originally, I remember, so we started with the walk,
Yep.
and then we added the bike,
That's right.
and then this year you added 3 activities.
Yes,
So now you're up to 5, and
Up to
I
5.
know that planning those 3 activities at the start of the year was a lot of work.
So
Yeah.
remind us what the 3 you added this year.
So the 3 we added this year was, in March was the Half Island Run Relay.
Yes.
The second one was at Easter, the aquafanathlon for the children.
Yes.
And then this one, which should have been the height of the summer, but it's the end of the summer,
Well, with this
autumn.
with this heat, it still feels like summer.
It still feels like the height, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And so then this is the third activity for the year. And then the other two, which is the latter end, they will continue as
And then next year you're going to have the
we
5 again.
start again. Yeah, we start again. Because if we get into this thing, then people will be like, I missed out last year. Well, you can do it this year. And hopefully we build up the numbers. Because one of the biggest dreams I would like to see SKN do is to do a big bike relay between the two islands. So we start off here, we go over to St. Kitts, and then we finish back in Nevis.
For the events that you have in Nevis, do you have similar events in St. Kitts, or they plan their own thing?
They literally plan their own events.
Okay.
It's safe to say, though, that Nevis has probably got more events on their calendar than theirs.
Okay. Kudos to you guys.
Of course.
Yes, and usually, in things like this startup, they fade after a time.
Yeah, but we've
as you
kept-
can see, Sheila keeps adding and adding, so that just shows that she's growing in strength.
Giving you
and-
more work, right?
Yeah. Of course. Yeah, so the idea is that we just keep trying to accommodate everybody. So if it's not for you, something else might be for you. You don't miss
Fantastic.
out. That's the whole idea behind all of these events.
Sounds
Because we
good to
wanted
me.
to get everybody involved.
Well, I guess maybe we can hear from David now. Then, because we want to hear about the obstacle.
Yes,
We want to
we
hear
do.
about. We want to
do.
hear about the obstacle. Dejan, you have anything else to add before we allow David to come
Okay,
in
well,
and have a
yes,
chat as well?
Definitely.
You have anything else to clear up?
Yes, definitely. I should add some more to this. Well, I became involved with this entire process through, knowing Sheila through work and then also through the Red Cross.
Yes.
Correct.
So I am the branch director for the Nevis Red Cross now. But at the point when I met Sheila, I was not in that position. So the Red Cross provides first aid coverage to all of Sheila's activities.
Okay.
So when you come out to the activity, you don't have to be afraid of any little scrapes, falls, or anything. We'll be there to assist and help and make sure that everything is well.
Yeah.
So it's been very, fun.
But
because I-
you said that you don't have to be fearful of that. But the Red Cross can't prevent you from falling down.
Can't prevent you from
Can't
falling.
prevent you from
But
getting
we will
scratched.
be there. We will be there to patch you up.
I like how you put it. You said don't be afraid, but I mean, of course, Red Cross can't stop you from fall down.
Nope, but we will be there to assist in whatever
Yeah.
way that we can.
Good.
Oh, and don't forget, one of the greatest things about this youngster here is he's assisting me in putting together our Facebook page for SKN Moves. So that hopefully we'll launch that at the beginning of next year, because everything's kind of slowed down a little bit, but we're picking up momentum again. But hopefully we'll have the page ready, and that it's going to have a lot of content, mainly around health and activities and our activities, and outsiders who want to advertise on the page their activities. It's just going to be like that. It's just going to be really good. So, yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
So that's it, Dejan?
Let me see. Is there anything else I want to add? So well, but I'm happy that I'm a part of this.
We're
and
happy you're part of it too.
Plan to continue on.
Yeah.
Assisting Sheila for as long as she'll have me.
Forever.
She'll work you hard, eh? Trust me.
Yes, and it's been from being here. I've seen how much work it is for Sheila to pull it off, and I'm just happy to be able to assist in whatever way I can, and to bring along my other volunteers and persons to assist Sheila. Yes.
And I know I have to commend the Red Cross, John.
Oh, absolutely.
You all not only do a brilliant job at all of these
They do,
sporting
they're
events and so on.
brilliant.
They're always there, and always there trying to help.
And one other thing, Sheila is also giving us a lot more work to do because, as she said, a lot more persons are having activities now, so we're receiving a lot more requests. So
Good.
for persons out there who are interested in being a volunteer and helping others, please come along and apply to be a volunteer with the Red Cross. We can use as many hands as we can to continue to provide our service to the country.
Good. Fantastic.
Awesome.
And I
Yep.
say congratulations on the great work that Red Cross normally does.
yeah.
'Cause I must say that they do a tremendous job at the sporting events that at least that I go to.
Yeah,
Right.
they've been partnering with us since 2019.
Yes.
So, and it's going to be for another
Thank you very much.
Sorry.
And
It
we
was
look
good
forward.
being here.
Good to have you, and we look forward to seeing you on the 17th and the other Saturdays,
Yes.
right, at the Fit Park.
That's right.
Right. Okay. Good. And so we're gonna be hearing from David now.
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
If he hasn't drifted off.
He cannot drift off. He's not like that at all. I'm sure David is always very anxious to speak about his Fit Park. And so I'm happy to have him in tonight, Sheila. Your partner in crime is here.
Partner in crime is here. Very late.
Well, I'm not late. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, David. How are you doing?
My brother. By the way, I'm not late. We did.
You're good. You're good to go. You're good to go. Don't worry.
All right. Good evening.
Good evening.
To you, Eric.
Hello again. Hello.
And
Hello.
your listening public as well.
Nice to have you at Eastern Caribbean Spa. It's nice to have you on the mark.
Happy Wednesday.
Yes, you
Wonderful
too.
Wednesday.
Good.
Very hot Wednesday.
Extremely hot.
Yeah. So I was listening, and it seems that Sheila pretty much covered everything.
We need to hear more about the obstacle.
We'll talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
talk about the
That is what
obstacles.
people seem to be running away from.
Okay.
Right?
Eric,
Sheila said she had a very difficult time getting people to participate.
Yeah, Eric, let me just say that this event, by the way, is not an isolated event. As I think Sheila may have pointed out. I think
Yes.
I'm going to point out that it's a part of a calendar
Yes.
of events that we're doing every year. I think she broke them down. With first one is the Half Island Road with
Yes.
Run Relay. This, by the way, is a collective effort between the National Weight Loss Campaign, Ministry of Health,
Yes.
and the SKN Moves.
Right.
And collectively, we're all pulling our resources together to do one simple thing, Eric. That is to try to keep. That is just to keep neighbors healthy,
Yes.
Yeah.
you know, and promote health. That is our collective, simple goal: is to do what we can collectively to try.
And I have to tell you, David, as people say, in front your face, behind your back, you have been an excellent advocate
Yeah, well,
for health and fitness on the island of Nevis. I don't think you can do any more.
Yeah.
You have been tremendous. I'm serious.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. So regarding the obstacle course, we actually went through it today.
Yes.
The idea was to have 15 obstacles, but I think because this is a sort of new event, we don't want people to pass out. We want to make it fun, challenging, but still fun. So we have broke it down to 10. The Fit Park has 15 fixed obstacle and another 3 movable. But I think keep it at a nice 10, sort of moderately intense. So we'll do, and we did a video, by the way. The video is going to be posted. I'll do a video tonight and post it tomorrow. It's going to be posted on our social media, and I think the Health Promotion Unit will post it as well. It'll just show a video run through of the obstacles. So those persons who are listening and are interested in competing, not participating, competing.
We've got
is
a
it
full
today? I
quar-
thought
we've got
it
a
was
full
the night.
quarter. Wow.
You done?
Yeah, we're done. Yeah, we have to cut it off. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because it's 2 days before the closing date, which is the 9th. And we're not going to get 16 other persons by then. It's just not possible because it's taken me nearly 3.5 weeks to get, since I've come back from holiday,
Yeah.
to get 16 people. And we got the last 2 signed up today.
I just spoke to, I just left Ernie France, by the way, who said he's putting a team together from his company.
I just sent him a message to say it's closed off.
I
I did. I don't know. Ernie's not checking his
Tell
WhatsApp.
them get prepared for next year then.
He'll have to get prepared for
man.
next year. But I did. But what I said to him was, because they've left it so late. Remember, when you're organising these events, it's not just about the registration, it's all the other things that happen in the background that people are not recognising, like booking the breakfasts, getting things made, getting the t-shirt orders in on time. It's a lot of work. And so my cut-off was the 9th, and it has to be the 9th. So today was the last 2, because I was struggling to get the private sector up to 8. I managed to get the last 2 this afternoon.
Well, I think everyone is thinking they had a few more days.
No,
I think
well,
the cutoff is the 9th. I think everyone was thinking it's the 9th.
Friday is the 9th, tomorrow is Thursday. It's just, think about it. It's
Yeah,
not
well,
doable.
okay, well,
The you actually come in and pay money on the 9th.
yeah.
So you're supposed to say, right, I'm interested and I'm going to come on the 9th, but that's
Well,
not been happening.
Eric Shielder, the one who organizes this.
She's the boss.
I have to be guided.
She's
hard
she's the
work.
boss.
Yeah. I'm guided.
She called the shots, David.
I have to be guided by her. I have to be guided by her because she organizes the trophies and all
Yeah,
that
and I
stuff.
have to organise
But let me
everything.
just
So it's-
let me just talk
yeah.
very quickly about the obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do the tire run from the tire. So the first thing that each competitor will do is that they'll do something what they call a burden run, and that is just just a casual run around the park. We have about 3 man-made hills there that we've did. So that in itself is a little taxing. And it's the reason why it's called a burden run, because it's to tax you a little bit before you get into the obstacles. From there, you move right into the tire hop. And as I mentioned again, all this would be demonstrated in the video that I just did today, actually, which will be posted on our social media and the Health Promotion Unit. Then we'll go to the Pyramid Monkey Bar. From there, you go through a tunnel with a water feature. So you're going to get a little wet. You just said there's no women competing, so I guess the guy is not going to worry about getting their heel wet. So-
Women be like, oh, my hair.
and then you
Shower caps.
then from there you're going to move into the over under log. From there you're going to move into the tire swing, to the seated rope pull, and then from there you move to the rope swing. So you're going to swing across from one log to the next, which seems easy, but is a bit challenging when you have to try to hold your body weight up. So it requires a bit of concentration. And then from there, you're going to move on to the sled walk. Generally, this is done with 4 persons, but it's going to be a little more challenging with individual. So you're going to move to the sled walk. And then we're introducing something really, really fun. We'll have 2 tents that you have to go through. So at the end of the obstacles, you go through one tent, you take your shoes off, come out of that tent, goes into another tent, you have to drink a bottle of water, and then come through the tent, and that ends it. So that slows it up a little bit, and you can win 2 ways. You can win by if all your teammates, who is four per person, make up a team.
No, remember it's 8 individuals. We're not doing pairs again, because we don't have the 32, so we're doing it as individual. Although they're representing the sectors, it'll be like a full team of 8 versus a full team of 8. But
Okay.
they'll be paired
So-
up, it's opposites.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if if all your teammates get through and pass every obstacles, each obstacle is awarded 10 points, and so there's 10 obstacles. So if your teammates pass every obstacle,
Yeah.
you're awarded 100 points.
100 points max.
And then we'll go to time. So those that team that complete the course the fastest time, of course,
To get through to the next
they'll
round.
move on. All right. I
But
trust I
David,
will clear.
I mean, the obstacles that you're describing, I'm sure some of the participants probably might be taking those obstacles for the very first time. Do people get a chance, an opportunity, if they want to come and practice?
Absolutely.
Well, we've
Absolutely.
been the good news is we've been encouraging people to contact David to come and check the obstacle course. If they've not been able to do that, the prelims is going to be testing for them. But the good news is if you get, and unfortunately those that get eliminated will probably say it's because they didn't have an opportunity, but for those that get through to the next round, they got a full week to practice before the next round. So that's the only up on that. But the prelim, it would have been ideal if people could have come in before, but we've advertised it so that people can go in, but I don't think people have taken up the offer, have they, to come in and check out the
so
grounds?
if those teams who have a person who have signed up already, if they wanted to come and run the course,
They've got a full week before the
yeah,
event.
feel free to do that. They can just give me a call at 662-8749. I'm happy to accommodate them. And I've had a few persons who's came up and asked me already, and I'm happy to.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I'm happy to coordinate
Yeah.
time for them to try the course out before the actual event.
David, you have an excellent facility there, but I think it is really underutilized very, very badly. So I'm hoping that this event will spark some interest in some persons to come, and even private organizations can organize things there. I'm sure you'd welcome that.
Away days, there's all sorts you can do on that.
Yeah, Eric, maybe you may not know this, but I will say this publicly now. Where it is right now is not how the facility should be. It's meant to be a complete fitness park, which includes the gym, swimming pool, the whole 9 yards. So it's important to know that it was meant to be a complete park. And my objective is to still do that. I mean, there's been a few setbacks, but objectively, the idea is to complete, that initial goal. And so I'm still working towards doing that. So this, we hope, as you said, is to spark other events, ideally. And thank you so much for your support as well.
Yes.
From Ministry of Sports. You've always been very supportive in all the health promotion activities, so I want to thank you as well, to Eric. Thank you so much for providing light. With that, we might be able to do some other things, some night events as well. So we appreciate your support in the.
That's what I'm there for.
Yeah. So
I can't say no to you. I can't say no to Sheila, right?
You dare not say no to us.
Eric, we're not going to stop. This. There's. Despite the challenges, and there are always going to be challenges. But when you're passionate about a goal, an objective, and you want to make your community healthy, you just keep pushing on. And so, like as I mentioned before, our sole and number one objective, at least from my perspective, and I'm sure it is as Ministry of Health as well, is that we want to make our community healthier. I mean, we struggle very, 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 very badly with non-communicable disease.
Extremely badly.
A lot of community members are extremely overweight, and they have all sorts of health issues.
Yes.
And so, if nothing else, we want to keep the enthusiasm alive. One of the things that is part of when we have in our lineup as well is that physique show that we're doing every year. Though people may not necessarily want to compete, it at least provide a motivation, for people to sort of get healthy, and because if you have a sense of what that looks like, hopefully it will subliminal motivation. Provide some subliminal motivation for people to get healthier.
And what you all are doing is so very important, because as you just said, we are really plagued with these NCDs, and it's getting worse by the minute. Every now and again we hear somebody goes down with kidney disease, with high blood pressure, with diabetes.
It's unfortunate.
It is so unfortunate.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
And these are lifestyle diseases, and people need to heed the call. But David, I asked Sheila the question, and maybe I can ask you now. I mean, you have been involved in this. As I said, you have this passion. You have this passion for health and fitness, and you have been trying really very, very hard through a lot of your initiatives. Do you believe that people are getting the message? You believe people are heeding the call?
Absolutely, Eric. Absolutely, unequivocally, yes. See it all the time. I mean, not just as a result of what we're doing, but also what even gave that a further boost is that we just came out of a pandemic.
Yes.
Which boosts this idea that people needs to get healthier. So I think people understanding now that being healthy is no longer a choice; it's a necessity for life. If nothing else, not just for your own personal health, but to at least have a fighting chance, to ward off these, viruses that are coming, and they're going to keep coming. Every time you turn around, there's a different variant. So this period it might be COVID-19, next period it might be something else. So if nothing else, I mean, you'll have to at least think about that if it's not for your own health's sake, then at least get yourself in a position that you have a good, strong playing field that you can ward off against, any threatening viruses.
I know, of course, we know, we see a lot of people, a lot of activity. I mean, the activities that Sheila described in the SKN Moves, we see a lot of people walking, you see a lot of people jogging. Do you believe they are complementing that with eating right, David?
Well, that's the problem. That's the rub. And that's an area that we have to put a bit more focus on because most of our community members lack the knowledge in how to combine good exercise with proper eating habits. And the problem is you cannot out-exercise a bad diet. You simply cannot. And so that is an area that we have to make the connection. And that, we're doing that. We've been doing some of that with our Fit Show that is aired on NTV. And we're planning to do some other things that put a bit more focus on good health eating habits and making good choices, because that's a very critical part.
Stick a pin there, because I'm sure a lot of people are listening, and I'm sure they're getting a lot of pertinent information. We're talking mostly health and fitness tonight, because my next guest, who's going to come in a little in a bit, we'll also be talking about health and fitness as well. I just want to tell the listening public, if you're out there and you're listening and you have a question, you want to call, or you want to make a comment with regards to what David and Sheila has been discussing, our numbers are 869-469-1616-1700. Our lines are open, so you can call in at any time if you want to just make a comment with regards to what we're discussing. If you want to ask a question, we have a caller online. Good evening, caller. You're live and on the mark.
Great. How are we doing, Honorable Premier?
I am not the Premier. I am sitting in for the Honorable Premier tonight.
What would you say, Evelyn, Honorable
Eric Evelyn, yes.
Justice?
Eric Evelyn.
Service?
Yes, I'm the Minister of Social Services, yes.
Well, this is Aya speaking with you. Good night to you.
Good night.
Honorable Minister.
Good night to you, sir.
And how was your day, Honorable Minister?
My day was, it was busy, but productive.
Did you inhale, exhale when you're done work?
I did.
Well, you must do that, because
I do that. David is my coach.
Your mindset to the high.
David Walwyn is my coach, so I do that all the time.
Well, your coach comes.
And actually, we're talking about health and fitness tonight.
Well, that's good to hear, because it's something I come to talk to you about. But I'm not going to put it on your program tonight, because it's to destroy your social fabric or your ministry, how they behave. But me going to talk about.
Oh no, we can't. We won't talk about that tonight. Okay.
I will talk about ganja and health. So can we talk about that?
we're not really discussing that part tonight.
Because ganja is a part of health and fitness, in the whole in the minister, because you're the Minister of Social Service.
Yes, I am.
The ministry do your whole up in Navy.
Yes, sir.
Need to get Chevrolet.
I'm not a soul. My name is Ras Aya, please.
Yes.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you.
No. Listen me carefully. And I will say good night to your listeners who are listening, the Minister of Social Service, and who are representing the CCM party, and who is a part of now the option of the general federal government. But you are not in the government, but you are a part of the structure of that federal system.
Yes, sir.
Which I find that all garbage to my meditation. But let me get to the health and fitness. Now, you're saying you're discussing about health and fitness.
Yes.
Well, if we really see it that we should have this discussion tonight. It's a good discussion.
Yes.
But here is it we have to know now. How can we maintain the health and fitness when we're still having the supermarkets packed with all kind of garbage food?
Well, I guess you probably you were not listening before, but the
because I'm not close to radio.
Oh, okay, because the folks who are here tonight, they are telling you things that you can do to remain healthy, to that at least we can keep the NCDs at bay and so on. So we have been discussing a lot of things here in terms of keeping fit and being healthy. And then another guest is coming on short, and she's gonna be extending that discussion of talking about health and fitness. So that is very, very important to us as a nation, and so that is what we have been discussing tonight.
Well, since I am not close to radio, I would like to have my apology.
That's no problem. That's no problem at all. That's okay.
And in the moments of your discussion, have my apology, not knowledge that you have guests in your.
That's okay. No problem at all, sir.
Good night to your guests, dear Honorable Minister, who being in your presence to highlight to the people of Nevis
Yes.
and to the world in particular about health and fitness. Now, I would just like to say something before I go.
Yes, sir.
We have to take it very serious because a healthy nation is a wealthy nation.
Oh, for
That is
sure.
first and foremost when we go standing in health and fitness.
Yes.
Now, the youth them that we see on our shows, we need to contain them that they're engaged in knowing what to eat in a healthy balance.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you all will discuss.
Yes, we're discussing all of that. So you're right on target.
Well, I'm glad because I do walking every day.
Oh,
I walk
good.
to the All Island Sunday gone, you know. Walk
Fantastic.
to the whole of Navy Sunday
Great,
gone.
man. You're strong. You're fit.
Well, it's smoke ganja, we have smoke ganja. You know. So that's health and fitness.
All right, sir.
You see, so tell the people them that over Nevis, when Rastafari gather, leave us alone because we love to smoke ganja.
All right,
we
sir.
We don't want to have no disorderly conduct.
All right,
But
sir.
with any disorderly conduct, you have a right to bear them in a respectful way and tell them that is not the way we need no behavior.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for calling, eh?
Thanks a lot for the format that you're having tonight, Honorable Minister.
All right,
and
sir.
when I come back Nevis, I need to have a dialogue with you, please.
All right,
you have
sir.
a safe night.
Okay, have a good night. Thank you very much. All right, and so as I said, we're discussing health and fitness tonight, and I said, David, I sorry to have cut you off a while ago there, but I was just inviting anybody who wanted to call in and make a contribution to our health and fitness talk tonight. You know, anything else you wanted to highlight, David?
Yeah, I'm not going to say too much because I don't
Yeah.
want to hold up Chevrolet
Chevrolet.
Okay.
who's waiting.
Yeah.
Yes.
But just to your point, Eric, just very quickly, we have to figure out how we link the diet part with exercise.
Yes.
Because as you see, there's a lot of our community members, they're excited about exercise, but really they ever reach the goal they have set for themselves because they're lacking the diet part.
Yes.
So we intend to put a little more emphasis on that, so people can try to link and so they can get the results that they want.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, before you guys go, I'll give you the opportunity to invite people because, as I said, Sheila, people will need the encouragement, so they need to
Well-
have supporters there.
Well, because the closing date's really, really close, we've basically got the 16 competitors that we will work with on the events, but we do have space available for the Half Island Walk Relay, which will be in October, and also the 2-mile Bike Relay, which will be in November. So if you miss out on this one, you've still got 2 more opportunities to take part in SKN Moves events.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much, and
Thank
it's
you for
always a
having
pleasure
us.
to have
Thank
you
you.
guys. And this is a discussion, that is always very, very relevant. Health and fitness. All right. So I want to thank you guys for coming in tonight.
Thank you.
And of course, we're going to extend the discussion now because Chevron is coming in to join me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you. For
Absolutely, my pleasure.
For your unyielding support as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Always,
Thank you.
always there for that. You know that you can count on me. Okay.
Cheers.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you
a
very
good
much.
night.
Thank you
Enjoy
very
the
much.
rest
Have
of
a
the
good night.
evening.
Get home safely.
Will do.
All right.
You
So
as well.
thank you. All right. So we've had some folks here from SKN Moves in Kitts and Nevis, from the Nevis chapter, and they've been discussing an event that is coming up starting on the 17th of September. And so we were so happy to have 3 persons here with us tonight, and we're going to be getting another guest. As I said, we have a lot to discuss tonight, and so we're going to invite our next guest is right here, ready to go. And first of all, I have to apologize for keeping you waiting. And so we are so delighted to have our next guest in tonight, Miss Chevany Nesbitt. Chevany, we have been discussing health and fitness, and you're always talking about that as well.
Yes.
And I'm sure the discussion that we're going to be having tonight is also going to be about health and fitness as well. That is so very important.
Yes,
Because
definitely.
we're having too many health challenges these days on the island of Nevis. When I go to the hospital, sometimes I go on a weekly basis and I see persons there, it really hurts my heart, because, sometimes some of these things are lifestyle diseases, And so it's good to have Chevany in. I should have allowed her to introduce herself, but
That's okay.
but we have Chevany Nesbitt in with us. She's a do I have the title correct? Senior health educator?
Yes.
All right,
At
have
the
it
health
right.
promotion,
I
yes.
hear the name so much on the radio and on
Yes.
the television. All right, so Sharon, it's nice to have you in tonight, and it's a good way to segue from what we were discussing earlier because we're talking about the same thing, and I'm sure you're here to discuss some activities that are coming up on the weekend, and it's
Right.
all about health and fitness again. So tell us what's happening on the weekend coming up.
All right. So thank you for having me, Mr. Evelyn.
Of course.
You already introduced me, so most personally known as Evelyn in Nisbet, and I'm here to represent the Health Promotion Unit. So Caribbean Wellness Day is coming again. It is celebrated on the second Saturday in September every year.
Yes.
And Caribbean Wellness is basically geared towards continuing the awareness of non-communicable diseases, what they are, what they do, and how we can prevent and control.
When was it started, by the way? How many years are we celebrating it now?
It's been a while.
It's
I
been a
can't
while,
remember
no.
exactly.
No problem.
But it's going on for quite some time.
Good. Mhm.
Yes. So of course we usually have sometimes we have a week of activities, but more recently we've been having activities over the month of September, and we usually start around the Caribbean Wellness Day itself.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So Caribbean Wellness Day this is taking place on September the 10th, which is Saturday coming. And we have 5 different activities that we're doing for the month, but the first 2, which are taking place this week, is what I'm going to be honing in on tonight. So we
Okay.
have Sneaker Day, which is the 6th edition, and that is taking place this Friday, the September the 9th, all day. And persons are encouraged to wear sneakers on that day. Sneaker Day was it's originally created to encourage persons to wear comfortable shoes that would naturally encourage you to walk more and to just be active. And so we encourage persons to wear sneakers on that day, and we ask you to take pictures of yourself in the sneakers, and you're encouraged to dress up. You could match it up and do different things. And you take a picture and you post it to our Nevis HPU Facebook page and put the hashtag Sneaker Day 2022. And we are also encouraging you, if you would like, to stop by our office and have your picture taken, because we'll be there taking pictures all day and posting it to the page, etc.
So you can take a picture yourself, or you can opt to come to the Health
Right.
Promotion Unit and get it taken.
Yes.
If you come to the Health Promotion Unit and get it taken, you can still be a part of the competition.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. Mhm.
And of course the competition, like you said, competition. So we're gonna be giving away prizes, and the persons who have the most creative outfits, they will definitely win a prize.
So when you say creative outfit, it is sneaker day,
Yes.
but I guess the outfit comes with a sneaker.
Yes, so
it's the
person-
entire outfit you're going to be
Right.
judging.
There's their outfits, and if we find that a person probably has like maybe an extreme kind of sneaker or something, or so we will do it over everybody, all the sneakers that we saw, for all the pictures that we had for the day, then we judge accordingly, and then persons will be called or contacted after to let you know that you've won the prize.
So who does the judging?
The judging is usually done by our sponsor,
Okay.
which is National Bank, St. Kitts Nevis and Anguilla
Okay,
National
okay,
Bank.
okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's pretty exciting, and it's been catching on more and more over the years. As you know, Mr. Brantley usually
Yeah.
takes
The fashion police. I wonder if you're going to be posting anything on Friday.
because he probably will because he posts no matter if he's here or away.
I
He
know.
usually takes part, yeah. And of course,
And he does get upset when he win.
right, very upset.
But I'm glad you're
it's good
saying
fun.
now. I'm glad you're saying now that it is sponsor now only do the judging.
Right.
Because I thought it was you guys at the office
No,
that does
no,
the judging.
no,
You know,
no.
because he's
Usually-
always blaming you guys when he doesn't win.
Right. We
Right.
told him this before today, and he still don't believe us. But yes, the sponsor usually does the judging.
Okay.
And also for persons who decide to stop by the office, we have infused water at our office every Friday. So the infused water of the week, which is something we usually post on our Facebook page every week. You could follow our page and decide, okay, I'm going to do this infused water this week. So the infused water for this week, we're going to have it at the office for persons to try free of charge. And we will also be having our healthy muffins. And so those will be there for persons to get samples of this year for Sneaker Day. And so we're encouraging everybody, whether or not you're working, whether you're retired, or you just have to go to town to buy bread on the day, wear your sneakers and take part in the day. And even if you're a person that don't really like to take pictures,
So you're encouraging people to put on a sneaker to go buy bread.
yes, yes, you're accustomed to wear your joggers or your fancy shoes, put on some sneakers on the day. You know, you don't have to be in a fancy Nike or Adidas or Jordans. You could just be a regular pair of comfortable shoes that you call your tennis shoes, and you wear those sneakers. And of course, I would like to especially thank our sponsor, St. Kitts Nevis and Angola National Bank, who has been rallying behind us for a while, for a few years for Sneaker Day. And so we are very gracious and, you know, thankful to them for constantly supporting our healthy efforts.
Shivani, a couple of years ago we had this thing, Feet in the Street. Is it the same as Sneaker Day?
No. So Feet in the Street is different. Feet in the Street was when we blocked off the streets.
Because a lot of people had a lot of issues with that too.
Yes. Unfortunately, our people don't like to walk, and so that was this Feet in the Street was a big initiative we had where we wanted persons to appreciate what walking just for one day can do,
right?
And that the idea was for that to jumpstart you to start exercising and, you know, walking more. And so we just wanted persons to park on the outskirts of town, and walk into work or walk into whatever. And of course, we usually give trouble for change, but
people, so a lot of people got upset.
Yes,
trust me.
But it had a lot more people who were okay with it and understood the importance of it too. Because in certain countries and cities where you can't walk in the town, you know,
precisely,
you have to park outside, or you know. But and Nevis town itself is such a short. You could actually walk from one end to the next, but you know. So we're not doing that activity this year. So Sneaker Day was actually different. So there was a year where we actually had Sneaker Day, they walk Feet in the Street, and all these were get you moving. Feet in the Street was to get people's feet in the street walking in Charleston, but Sneaker Day, so they would just wear your sneakers.
Just wear your sneakers.
Yeah, so I could understand why persons would kind of confuse it too, but no, they're different.
And the response over the years for Sneaker Day, how has it been? Because I know they're like, for example, there might be some ladies who insist, well, I'm going to work, so I need to put on my nice shoes.
Right.
What has the response been like over the years?
So over the years, it has been increasing. It has been, people been appreciating Sneaker Day more. And I guess because the idea that if for one day you could at least, you know, just, because you know certain institutions kind of, they dress formal for the whole week, right? So for one day you could still just a little formal but put on your sneakers. So it's been catching on more, and more of those same institutions would encourage it.
Right.
And so it has been catching on. People excited about Sneaker Day. People ask you about Sneaker Day even before we start promoting it. And so I must say that we have had an increase in the amount of persons. And I have had persons tell me, because I had on my sneaker, I went, instead of driving 2 bodies, for example, I walked.
Right.
And so that is what we want. You know?
And I've seen some pretty decent sneakers over the years. I've seen a couple of pictures.
People have sneakers, you know? They have those sneakers, yes. And, you know, yes. And they post, some people just post the shoe itself. And then other persons post their outfit. They have people who go as far as getting matching shirts to their shoes, to the sneakers, and then match with their children and stuff. So, yeah, it's pretty fun and exciting.
So we're looking forward to another fun and exciting one on Friday.
Yes.
Good.
And then on Saturday,
before we go to Saturday, what you said that people can win prizes. What are the prizes looking like for the Sneaker Day?
Actually,
we have a caller online. Good night, caller. You're you're live and on the mark.
Good evening.
Good evening. How you doing?
I wouldn't complain. I've had worse times.
Okay.
Two things I want to draw to the public's attention here. I seem to recall in the Premier's recent press conference, he mentioned, and I'm paraphrasing here by the way, he mentioned that when land is used in road widening projects, they have been giving walls as payment. Quite frankly, sir, I think that is grossly and colossally inappropriate.
Well, the thing is, you said the Premier would have discussed it in his press conference, right?
I seem to recall, yes.
Yes. Well, I am not sure exactly what the Premier would have said. I did not listen to that press conference, so I would not be able to comment on that. But the Premier would have said.
Well,
okay.
Just let me address the matter, and then you can relate to him.
Okay.
Right? The common medium of exchange in transactions in this country, so am I speaking with Mr. Evelyn?
Yes, you are.
Good. Is cash. The government doesn't have the right. I don't think the government has the right. I'm not a lawyer, But the government does not have the legal right to determine how it's going to pay for people's land. Okay? You take some, at least if you take my land, you ain't going to decide how you pay me. Let me make that clear. You will pay me cash, that's the common medium of exchange, and not as grossly inappropriate. That's one matter.
Mm-hmm.
The other matter, there appears to be a practice in government where individuals with a given skills that members of the public may need from time to time, to be using government's time, government space, government equipment to assist members of the public and then charging them. All right?
Mm-hmm. I'm listening.
Now, if I walk into a department and I require certain service and I'm charged and the money goes into the government treasury, I have no problem with that. But there appears to be some instances where individuals are allowed to run a business within the government and pocket the money. Okay?
Yes, I'm
This matter
listening.
needs to be addressed and corrected. It's wrong, it's unethical, it's immoral, and it's just, I'm pretty certain it's illegal. So if you have individuals there, but if I know, I was a victim of the situation. You have individuals there who will provide a given service that the member of the public desires, using government space, government equipment, government time for which they are being paid through the taxes that I pay. And then they are charging, and the funds they collect from those charges, they are pocketing the money. Okay? This is just outright blatant corruption that needs to be corrected. All right, Mr. Evelyn?
Yes, I'm listening. Well, if you know of any such case, then you report it to the relevant department or
And
ministry.
tell me who's the relevant party or parties that I could address it to.
Well, let's say the relevant ministry. If somebody is charging you and using the ministry's equipment, then you must know what ministry that person is working for.
Okay, so I go to the permanent secretary in that ministry then.
You, the relevant person in the ministry, the director or
Relevant to the permanent
the director or the permanent secretary.
Okay, fine, I'll take it up.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you as well. All right, back to you, Shavani, as we continue to discuss Sneaker Day. I was asking about the prizes.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we were. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I was saying for the prizes we have not finalized or we're not ready to say what the prizes are as yet.
Okay.
And so I'm not gonna give out what the prizes are.
Absolutely no problem.
But it's usually really good prizes. So,
Okay. Well, it's
yeah.
National Bank,
Yes.
so it has
And
to be good prizes.
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. And so, is there a cutoff time on Friday for people to post their sneakers?
Yes, around 4 o'clock, which is what time.
So you can start any time of the day and
Yes.
you end off at 4.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
fantastic.
yes.
All right, good. Well, I'm sure a lot of people are listening and people are all geared up for Sneaker Day. I'm going to try to remember to put on my sneaker on Friday.
I'll remind you.
Please remind me,
I will.
okay?
Make sure you take your pictures.
I'm very forgetful.
Same, but I'll
Okay.
remind you.
I will come to the office to get my picture taken.
Okay, good.
All right.
Good.
I'll come over there and
Forward
get
to
my.
having you.
Yes. All right.
All right,
Okay.
all
Good.
right.
All right. So we can move to Saturday now then.
Okay, so on Saturday we have our annual Caribbean Wellness Walk, which takes place on Saturday the 10th of September, and it starts at 5:30.
Okay.
The walk starts at the bottom of Cotton Ground, which will be the entrance for Yatsman Grill. We have a warm-up session that starts before, around between 5 and 5:15. We try to have a warm-up session, and then we try to start the warm-up session at least by 5:15, and then we walk at 5:30. It starts at Cotton Ground, and then it goes along the Island Main Road through Charleston, and we end at the Villa Grounds. When we end at the Villa Grounds, we will have light refreshments, which would be a light breakfast, and of course there will be water available along the walk as per the usual. persons are encouraged to register for the walk by going on our Facebook page, Nevis HPU, and you will see the flyer for the walk, and on the write up for the flyer you're gonna see this link, and you click on the link and you register. This year we're encouraging groups, community groups to join, and so the community group with the largest turnout, they will be awarded as well. And so it could be a group of persons who are exercising, a gym partner group, or community organizations and groups. We're encouraging you. So call the office at 4698010 to register your group, and you're encouraged to come and show out your numbers, and you will get a prize if you are the largest group. Now, for you to be recognized as a group for the winner, all the members of the group have to show up and start the walk.
Okay.
So you'll have a group of persons that some people gonna start cutting, going and
right.
If that's the case,
everybody must start at the starting point.
Yes. We're not cutting any corners here. Right. So we have a limited amount of T-shirts that we'll be giving out on the morning, and they will be given out on a first come first serve basis. And of course, you have to be registered to get a T-shirt.
Now, this walk that you do every year, do you find the numbers growing? You find the numbers decreasing? You find the numbers staying the same? Because when David and Sheila were here, they were saying that based on what has been happening on the island of Nevis over the years, they've seen increased activity, persons walking, persons jogging, persons doing things to keep fit. So over the years, do you see an increase in numbers of persons who are coming out to do the walk?
Definitely. We have, over the years, each year we have more persons showing up. The only year we had a dip would be the year we started after COVID, which is natural, which we expected. So that was the only year that had a dip. But ever since that, we've had our numbers climbing, and so persons are catching on, and it's a cool. I mean, even though the place is really hot these days,
very hot. I don't know what's going on.
Yes, yes. So
and every day I get nervous because when it's so hot, it says that it's always saying that when it's so hot, storms are coming.
Yeah.
So
You're right.
I'm really hopeful that would not be the case this year, because we've been getting some really hot weather. Yeah, very bad. So, and even at nights.
Yeah, and that is frightening because in the night it would cool down, but
right.
Not really. So in the morning around 5:30, it's not as bad as 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock. So usually the walk is for the persons who are walking briskly. Between an hour and a half, you should be done. And so usually it's a cool, nice walk, and persons enjoy it. Some persons who are not really active or they don't walk often, they find it to be long when you tell them. But then when you're actually doing it, they say it wasn't so bad. And of course, if you walk with people or with a partner, the walk is easier. And so we're encouraging persons to take part in the walk, and that could, even if you keep saying, I want to start exercising, you could actually use that and then just continue. And we actually have prizes, so we're gonna give out prizes, like I said, to the largest group that turned out. We're gonna have prizes for the first male in, the first female in, and then the oldest person in, and the youngest person in.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and of course these persons have to be registered for them to be recognized at the end.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And you said persons could register on the Facebook page. Can person also walk into the office and register?
Yes, they can walk into the office and register, or they could call us at 4698010, like persons who are listening. They're individual walkers, not part of a group. They probably don't have access to Facebook, or they just prefer to call. That's an option as well. Yeah.
And since this is a Caribbean Wellness Day activity, I'm assuming that something similar happens in practically all of the islands throughout the region?
Yes, most of them countries that partner with PAHO and CAFA, they sorry, I meant to say CAFA, they usually have a Caribbean Wellness Day. Even if they just do one day, they just the day itself, they do stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You said you had some other activities for the year as well?
Let me just run through. So we have 3 other activities coming up. Of course, we have our Fitness in the Tropics yoga, which we started just before COVID kind of closed everything down. So we started back our yoga sessions recently, and so we have one as part of our month of activities for Caribbean Wellness Day, and that will take place on the 24th of September. It's a Saturday. It starts at 7 a.m. and it will take place on Pennies. And so we're encouraging persons to do that. And also we're encouraging registration for the yoga. It is free of cost. We're encouraging persons to register via the link on our Facebook page as well. So you will see the Fitness in the Tropics logo on the flyer, and then for the write-up for that flyer on the page, you could click the link. And also you have the option of calling the office 469-8010 to register for that.
Shavana, do you see people catching on to yoga?
You know, yoga, the turnout for yoga actually surprised me, because I didn't expect a good amount of people, but it has been growing.
I think so, because they had an event there recently down the Malcolm Gishard Park. I think it was International Yoga Day.
Oh.
Yes, organized by the Indian High Commission.
Okay.
Yes, and actually I've been to it this year. I was there, I think it was last year. I think I've been to it about 3 years in a row. It is normally, I said, organized by the Indian High Commission. I could remember the first time I went to it, I think it was over at Cottle Church area. Then I went to one at the Heritage Village in Gingerland, and then this year it was held at the Malcolm Gishard Park, and I was pleasantly surprised with the numbers of persons who were there at that
good.
International Yoga Day event.
What time of year that usually takes place?
I think this year, it happened probably about 2.5 months ago. I was there, the premiere was there, we had to make some remarks. But
And so that's just before Culture Rama started?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. So the crowd grew over the years too?
Yes, definitely. Because I said, when they had the event there at the Malcolm Gishard Park, I think it has been the biggest number that I've seen.
That's good.
Over the years.
That's good, yeah. Yoga actually, contrary to what some people who don't know would think, yoga actually keeps you fit. It's just not as rigorous as exercising or running. It's not as running or jogging or going to the gym. But yoga actually, it's good. It's good for the body.
Good meditation.
Yeah. It is. Two other events that we are having. So we have a beautifier spot project that's going on.
Okay.
Where the health promotion unit, we choose an area on Nevis that we're going to beautify, and at the end of it, everybody can go and enjoy, have lunch, or just look up. So we're not going to say where as yet, and the details behind that will be given later, because we're still ironing out some stuff for it. And then the last thing, which is not last, but the last thing on the list, is the community garden project.
Okay.
Where this is being done in collaboration with Banky. And so we will be starting a vegetable garden in the community, and of course the garden will benefit the community, and we are hoping that.
And you're going to keep that a secret as well, which community?
Yes, for now.
Okay. So it's just one community?
Yes, for starters, yes. Well, we're hoping to move on and do other, and so at the end of it, the community is then expected to take it over and keep it going.
Take ownership.
Yes.
Good.
And but so it's really these are some really good, exciting stuff.
So I'm assuming wherever that community garden is will be on a spot that is accessible to everyone.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
So we're making sure that we cross our T's and dot our I's in that aspect.
Good.
And of course, promotion and that kind of thing will be done for that.
Fantastic. It sounds good, because at least it's good that persons get involved in, if you want to remain healthy and fit as well, keep talking about eating local.
Healthy, yes.
And eating local, and people need to get involved in the gardening and that sort of stuff. So, of course, since the pandemic, I believe we have had a surge in agriculture on the island, on Nevis, which is great. So I think a lot of more people are eating more local products. I think that is an excellent idea. Of course, it ties in with the health and fitness as well.
Definitely. Yes.
So you have quite a bit of activities for this year.
We do. We do.
And of course, we know you guys always do such an amazing job in promoting things. I often wonder how you guys get it done, because when you advertise anything, you always have such great numbers. You have activities in the square or whatever. People always turn out. So you guys always do such an amazing job in getting people out.
Yes.
And I think you all need to continue, because we need to continue to get that message into people's head that you need to be healthy, you need to be fit, you need to keep away the NCDs, and the only way you can do that is through good eating, exercise, and that sort of thing.
Amen.
Good. All right.
Good.
Anything else you want to leave with us before you go?
I just wanted to shout out our sponsor for the walk, which would be TDC. They have also, just like National Bank behind the sneaker day, they have been behind us for the walk, the wellness walk, for quite some time. So I wanted to say a big thank you to our sponsors. This year that will be TDC for the Caribbean Wellness Walk and St. Kitts Nevis and Anguilla National Bank for Sneaker Day. I would like to take this opportunity to encourage persons who have not registered for the walk or haven't got their sneakers dusted off or washed and haven't started stretching for the walk on Saturday to do so. And if you please take some time out, just 2 minutes to register for either. You don't have to register for Sneaker Day at all, but you're asking to register for the walk and to register for Fitness in the Tropics Yoga.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Sounds
and I
great.
hope to see you at both of them.
Of course.
All right.
You promised to give me a reminder.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Chevrolet, it's always a pleasure having you, and I hope that people will turn out in their sneakers in their numbers on Friday.
Right.
And I hope that people will turn out in their numbers again on Saturday and as well at the yoga as well. So thank you very much for coming along and promoting these events. And as I said, normally you have a knack, and once you speak, people come.
Amen.
So I'm sure people are going to be out in their numbers. Everybody's going to put on their sneaker on Friday.
Yes.
And I believe a lot of people are going to be coming out to walk with you on Saturday.
I'm
so
glad to hear that.
thank you very much.
Thank
and
you,
it's
Mr.
a
Evelyn.
pleasure having you, and I wish you every success with your activities.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. And so we say thank you very much to our guest, Chevany Nisbet. Prior to Chevany, of course, we would have had 3 guests with us as well. We would have had Sheila James, we would have had David Walwyn and Dejon Liebert. They would have been talking about the SKN Moves. And so, of course, tonight the focus has been on health and wellness. Of course, we know we can't talk too much, we can't stress too much about the importance of keeping fit and staying healthy. Of course, we know that unfortunately we have been plagued with so many of our NCDs, and a number of persons keep going to the hospital. We've had a lot of deaths because of these NCDs, and it is very, very important that we take stock of what we do, take stock of what we eat, take stock of our lifestyle. Of course, as we keep saying, a lot of these diseases are indeed lifestyle diseases. It depends on how much salt you put in your food, how much grease you put in your food, how much fat you eat, how much sweet you eat. And so it is important that you heed the call of these professionals in health. And of course, the Health Promotions Unit have been doing an amazing job. And we're so thankful to have all our guests here this evening talking about health and wellness. Of course, the lines are now open. We have about another 18 minutes to go. So the lines are open, 869-469-1616-1700. You can call in and put whatever you want on the table. You're live on Vaughan Radio. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Evelyn.
Yes.
I have a question for you, and that is, prior to when you were minister in the unity government,
Yes.
your portfolio included environmental development. Is that correct?
Included environment, yes.
I'm sorry?
It included environment, yes, it did.
Right. Now, when I look across the landscape of Nevis, I see the abandoned junk cars. Has any thought been given to find a market for all the scrap metal we have saturating Nevis' landscape?
Well, as a matter of fact, of course, we would have had a project here where we had these cars being crushed and exported overseas. I don't know if you are aware of this, but we did have a project where we had someone come in and they were actually taking the cars, compressing them and sending them overseas. I think it was actually a project that was done both in St. Kitts and Nevis, and so a number of abandoned vehicles that were on the island of Nevis were actually compressed and sent overseas. I can't give you the numbers, but I know for a fact we did have a project where it was being done. I can't recall the name of the person who was involved and the name of the company that was involved, but we did have a project. I think it was done through Solid Waste, the Solid Waste Management Corporation, but we did have that taking place here on Nevis Nevis.
You know, just this afternoon I passed by the government repair shop in Prospect.
Yes.
And that's government, and the place is littered.
Yes.
Literally littered.
Yes, I'm aware.
And saturated
Yes.
with abandoned vehicles, heavy equipment, and what have you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Has any thought been given to cleaning up that place and making it a more viable facility for government?
Well, of course, there's always room for improvement, whatever we do. Of course, I agree with you. There are too many abandoned vehicles across Nevis, and that is something that we have to continue to look at, because the thing is, when we have these abandoned vehicles, of course, it can lead to the breeding of rodents, rats, and so on. And of course, we know that these are not good for our health. They're not good for the environment. And these are issues that we have to continue to look at and to address. But
the program is just laid out there. Quite frankly, I haven't seen that program making any dent in the problem in Nevis.
Which program?
The crushing, someone crushing this metal.
You were not aware of this activity that took place in Nevis a couple of years ago?
A couple of years ago, no.
Okay,
no, I'm not.
It did take place, though. Yes.
A couple?
Yes.
Like 2 years ago?
I can't recall what time, but I know it. I almost believe that the name of the company was Leclanche. I can't remember, but I know
Okay.
I know it did take place.
I'm going to give you 2 locations.
Yes.
Up in Fountain, there's a body shop up there.
Yes.
And then Labor Hill, right along the Island Main Road.
Yes.
I mean, you know, I can't find word to describe the appearance of those 2 locations in particular.
You see, the other thing is, to caller, sometimes we have to recognize that we as right thinking division, sometimes we have to be more responsible as well in terms of what we do, because a lot of these situations are created by us. And so, I mean, of course, we know that all of us tend to look towards the government to get things done, and of course, yes, the government is there to do that, but that we as divisions, as I said, right thinking divisions, we need to sometimes take responsibility as well for some of the things that happen across Nevis. And a lot of these things are created by us.
Any government
Yes.
is to do for its citizens what they can do for themselves.
I totally understand that, but all I'm saying as well, it has to be a partnership.
To do what for its citizens.
I am quite aware of
They cannot do
that.
for themselves cheaper.
I'm quite aware of that, but as I said,
So,
sometimes we create
I
the
think
problems as well.
Government on that particular issue has failed miserably.
Well, that's your opinion.
Another question. And I'm going back to the federal government.
Yes.
Well, I don't even like to call it federal, because let me just call it the government in St. Kitts. That prior to the election, right, he was here as a minister of government to set in cabinet and what have you.
Yes.
Now, subsequent to the last election, you are not in opposition. What, as an elected representative from one of Nevis's constituency, what, if anything, you plan to use your time in St. Kitts to accomplish?
Well, never mind, we would be in a position where we have been elected by the people of Nevis to represent the affairs of Nevis, and that is exactly what the 3 of us will be going to St. Kitts to do. Irrespective whether we are in opposition or we are in government, we were elected, duly elected by the people of Nevis to represent the affairs of Nevis, and that is exactly what we will be going to do.
Okay, so could you share with me what type of representation do you hope to present when you go to St. Kitts?
So are you saying that we can represent if we are in opposition?
That is not the question. I'm asking, could you share with me what type of representation you plan to give or to offer Nevisians when you go to St. Kitts?
I mean, if you were following the last campaign that we did, our main campaign was about fair share for Nevis for the CBI funds. That is one of the things that we will continue to represent well for the people of Nevis, and we are very confident. We are very confident that from our representation that we will provide in Bastia, that we will get results. That is only one of the things that we intend to do. Of course, there are many other things. We spoke about the geothermal. We need the a letter from the federal government to go to the CDB to get another phase of that development. And so these are things that we will be representing at the federal level. So never mind we are in opposition. I know the chatter is out there that we can't represent in opposition, but we will prove to the people of Nevis that we will represent in opposition.
You mentioned geothermal. Geothermal is not a new project, you know.
I know, I didn't say it was I didn't say it is a new project.
Many years ago, presented by another party, of which you are not a member.
I know.
So that's not a new issue.
I never said it was a new project, sir.
I cannot sit here and allow you to take credit for geothermal.
I didn't say I'm taking credit. I guess you were not listening to me.
Because geothermal has been around.
We know it is. We know it has been around, and I did not take any credit. I did not take any credit for it. All I said is that we're going to continue to represent to make sure that the project goes forward. So apparently you were not listening to me.
Well, what pressure do you hope to exert from the opposition benches? Could you share with us, share with the listening audience, what pressure do you hope to exert?
You don't have to exert pressure to get results, you know, sir. I don't know why you're using the word pressure, because you don't have to exert pressure to get results.
Okay, let me put it another way. What do you hope to accomplish?
We will accomplish of course, when the results are there, you will see what we will accomplish.
No. As a citizen of this country, you know.
But I just told you what we're trying to accomplish.
I expect
but listen, as I said, apparently you're not listening to me. I just said that one of the things we will do, we will work with the federal government in getting the government to send a letter to CDB so that we can continue the project. And so you are asking me what we're going to do. I just told you one of the things that we will do. So as I said, apparently you are not listening to me.
Okay. So you're gonna get the government to send a letter to CDB for funding. You didn't accomplish that while you were in government. Do you really expect to accomplish that now you're in opposition?
We will accomplish it. Mark my word.
You will accomplish it?
Yes.
Somebody didn't accomplish when you were in government.
Doesn't matter. We're going to accomplish it.
Mr. Evelyn, I hear you, but let me just close by saying I don't put any confidence in what you just told me.
Well, that is your problem.
I do not. I put no confidence in what you just told me.
That is your problem, sir. You don't have to.
You have a good evening, sir.
You have a good evening, too.
Bye.
You're listening to On The Mark. We have another 8.5 minutes to go. If you're interested in calling in, please do. You're live and On The Mark. Good evening.
Eric, how are you?
I am wonderful. How are you doing?
Good. I find you gave that call a lot of leeway. You should have cut it off a long time ago. Some people are just calling to cause confusion.
Well, you know that's how people are.
I was in charge of the vehicles, the vehicles that were shipped out of the island.
Yes, I'm happy you called in. Yes.
And Jules Chaville is the name of the guy from St. Martin who owned the machinery.
Mm-hmm.
And we shipped quite a number of cars. And if the information is really necessary, I can go back to my files and tell you how many we shipped.
Okay.
Solid Waste would have had some input in that.
So I was correct then. It was Solid Waste was assistant.
I said I was in charge of the project.
Yes, of course.
I'm telling you, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I was in charge of the machinery.
Mm-hmm.
I was in charge of the staff.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy from St. Martin, Jules Chaville, that's the name of the person. I just clarifying the thing for you.
Okay.
You don't have to. I think somebody's trying to set you up.
And you see, the thing is too, what I believe happened, because I believe some persons, they know these things, but deliberately pretend that they don't know either. Because this was a project I was running for quite some time on the island of Nevis, and I'm sure everybody in Nevis must have heard about it.
I haven't called into the radio station for a very long time, and I don't care who say what. All right, the federal government is there, and the federal government has a responsibility to take care of the affairs of the Twin Island Federation.
Of course.
If one company fails to get geothermal, and you guys are pursuing geothermal now, and the whole spectrum is changed, and CDB is involved and stuff like that, you don't have to go and give anybody any explanation as to what you're going to do, and they want you to come across boastful, like to say, well, they're trying to dare you to make it sound like I say, well, okay, I'm going to say something here, and I want to force labor to not honor it. You understand? So just be careful with your words.
Of course.
Be humble. Dr. Drew is a gentleman. The whole Labour government, they are there. They are human beings.
Of course.
Most of the Labour government members have roots in Nevis, deep roots in Nevis. And I don't think that the government in power in St. Kitts have any beef with Nevisians on a whole.
Precisely.
And all the politicians from Nevis have to do is be humble and respectful, take your case to the government.
And listen. We have three representatives who have been duly elected by the people of Nevis who are humble.
Simple as that. Have a nice night.
You heard what I was just saying?
No, you just said.
I was saying that we have three representatives who have been duly elected. We didn't steal an election. We were duly elected by the people of Nevis, and we are three humble gentlemen who will be representing the fears of the people of Nevis the best possible
all my
way.
advice to you is tone down tone down the rhetoric. Just be humble. You guys not in cabinet, so you can make decisions, but at the same time, I think the Labour government, in the interest of the people of the Federation, will work with any government. So if NRP win the local government, I think the government is thinking it will work with them. And if you guys win it, I think the government is thinking it will work. All we have to do, look after each other as citizens.
We are one. St. Kitts and Nevis is one, and we will always be one.
On a very good path. His approval rating is very, very high. He has a lot of experienced people behind him. I honestly don't see, from my personal view, I cannot see anybody going to sit there and have any beef with people at this point in time when COVID is around, pandemic is around, monkeypox is around, all kind of hardships is around, and I can't see anybody, right? You know, there's one thing though. There's one thing I would like to hear somebody talk about is if the prison is still being built. Good night.
Good night, sir. All right. Do we have another call online? Well, we have another 4 minutes, and if anybody wants to call, you can still call in and can still squeeze you in. But in the meantime, in the next couple of minutes, just wanted to remind persons of that pop-up shoe store that will be happening at the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park on the 15th, 16th, and the 17th of September, and it will be happening from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the 3 days. We do have a call online. Good evening, call. You're live and on the mark.
Hello, this is Evelyn.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing fairly to partly cloudy.
Okay.
A little bit under the weather, but I'm.
You'll be fine.
Yes. Mr. Evelyn.
Yes, sir.
A caller called in a while ago talking about scrap cars, old cars, junk cars. That caller has his way of making a living. And some people think that they're up on a plane and others are beneath them. Who gives him the right to want to take up people's vehicles from the yard? Does he know the reason the people got a vehicle in the yard?
I guess not. I don't know.
You know, I mean, he talk about junk vehicles up in Fountain. And I happen to know the gentleman up in Fountain, and that's what he does for making a living. The guy has had a bout of illness, and he's got to turn to something that he couldn't manage, and that's what he's doing for a living. Some people make the living, and because you know they have it made, and they don't give a care, they don't give a care at all about anybody else. The guy down in Library Hill, he has some cars he tries to rent, and he got these old cars that he used for spare parts, support for his rental. And I hear people talking about them all the time, but when people have their vehicle in the private property, nobody have a right to go there and disturb them. we as black people need to stop fighting on each other. We need to care more about our brother. Some of us, when we reach up the hill, we kick down the ladder.
Unfortunately.
Kick down the ladder. I mean, you know, the other thing is, what can you do in Bastille? I keep saying, the government in power at the moment would have done well to include the seats from Nevis to strengthen their hand. We need 2/3 majority to pass any legislation. And, you know, I don't think we could get 2/3 from 6 out of 11. You know, I mean, it's close, but not close enough. So,
all right.
You're spinning top in the mud.
Caller, well, you're making some good points, but unfortunately, time has run out. You know, time has run out, so we can continue this conversation another time. But I agree with you. Okay, thank you very much, and I want to thank our callers. I want to thank our guests. We've had a good show tonight. Of course, our main topic was health and wellness and fitness, and once again thank our callers, thank all those who were here with me keeping my company tonight, and it has been my pleasure hosting the On the Mark program for tonight, and we want to remind you to join us again tomorrow for that repeat edition from 1 o'clock. If you listen tonight, listen again tomorrow. If you didn't get a chance to listen tonight, make sure you call your family and friends, tell them to listen tomorrow. And of course, we will be back here next week, Wednesday, same time at 8 o'clock for another edition of On the Mark. It has been my pleasure. Good night, and God bless.
The views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited or its advertisers.